All right, man. So we got a good one for y'all today. This episode is about. I say this episode. This video is about the Denver Nuggets. This ain't series recap. And before I launch, no, I'm not going to talk about preseason because, well, it's preseason. If you want my honest assessment, DeAndre Ayton could do a lot better than he did last night when he played his old team, the Phoenix Suns. 8 rebounds and 2 blocks in 18 minutes. AR didn't play great. Dalton Connect didn't play great. Our two main guys weren't playing in Luka and LeBron. So if you guys want my honest thoughts, there you have it. Sixers look pretty stupid and the Knicks look pretty formidable. All right, so that's a wrap on my preseason thoughts right there. Now back to the subject at hand. Ever since winning the 2023 title, the Denver Nuggets have been in a roller coaster ride these last 2 seasons. In 2023, they lost Bruce Brown and Jeff Green to free agency. Jeff went to the Rockets, Bruce Brown went to the Pacers, and then bounced around to the Toronto Raptors and recently the New Orleans Pelicans before he made his way back to Denver. I'm going to cover that real soon. And in the 2023-24 campaign, their best bench pieces were Reggie Jackson, Justin Holiday, and Peyton Watson with no real big coming off the bench. And lo and behold, they ended up losing a Game 7 to Minnesota in their home crib in the 2024 second round. And in the 2024 offseason, they ended up losing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, KCP. He ended up going to Orlando, and now you got traded to the Memphis Grizzlies for Desmond Bane. But it turned out to be addition by subtraction because it gave Christian Braun a bigger role than what he had his first 2 years. Obviously, he was a pivotal role player in his first 2 years, even in his rookie year where the Denver Nuggets won the championship. And Christian in his first 2 years, his rookie year, and Christian in his first 2 years, he didn't put up numbers, but that's because Mikey Malone was playing him in spot minutes. But as soon as Bruce Brown and Jeff Green were gone, you saw an increase of his minutes, which he went from 4.7 in his rookie year to 7.3 in his second year. And then when he got a bigger role with KCP leaving, not only Christian saw a career high in minutes last year, he averaged 34 minutes a game, but he also increased his scoring output to 15.4 a game. In that same offseason where they lost KCP, they got Russell Westbrook. I made my video about him. Russ had a really good year coming off the Denver bench. But the 2024-25 season was as rocky as ever. It was more rocky than what it was in 2023-24 because apparently there were some issues with the head coach. There was beef between him and the GM, Calvin Booth, at the time. And there were rumors, and I don't know if this is true, there were rumors of players tuning Mikey Malone out. And with 3 games left in the regular season, Mikey Malone got fired and he became a part-time analyst on ESPN during the playoffs. Even with the issues going on with Denver, they still managed to become a top 4 seed in a tough Western Conference. But for some context, yeah, they may have been a top 4 seed and the Lakers were number 3, with Oklahoma City and Houston running away with the Western Conference at the number 1 and 2 spots. The records between seeds 3 through seeds 9 were so bunched up together, the records were really close. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, Denver became the number 4 seed, and they ended up facing the LA Clippers with David Adelman as their interim head coach. Now, I made my video about the Mike Malone firing. I'm not going to reiterate those same points here, obviously because I don't remember them. But also, I made a playoff preview video discussing the Clippers-Nuggets first-round series where I gave the edge to the Clippers because I trusted their players more than Denver's players, and I trusted LA's head coach Ty Lue more than I trusted David Adelman at the time. And plus, I was still salty that the Nuggets kept on kicking the Lakers out of the playoffs for 2 years in a row, so I was just like, you know what? Clippers, please do your thing. Please eliminate them for us for the sake of LA. But unfortunately, Denver and David Adelman and the rest of the guys on that Nuggets squad last year made me and a lot of predictors look stupid because there are some people that actually thought Denver was going to win the series because they just own the Clippers. And I think the past remnants of what happened in the bubble, or what didn't happen if you're the Clippers, where you are up 3-1 and you blow 3 consecutive double-digit leads while being up 3-1 in the bubble. But regardless, the Clippers ended up taking a 2-1 series lead, which obviously that means a team would go on to win the series more often than not. But unfortunately for the Clippers, and fortunately for Denver, the Nuggets won the series in a landslide anyway. And David Adelman outcoached Ty Lue, who I think is a great coach. I don't care what anyone says. I still believe Ty Lue is a good coach, and I would want to play for him. But I cannot tell a lie. David Adelman out-schemed Ty Lue and outcoached Ty Lue. Round 2, they faced the Oklahoma City Thunder, who would eventually go on to win the NBA championship. And Denver put up a really, really good fight against that Thunder team, forcing a Game 7 and giving us some really wild, entertaining games in the first 6 games. But unfortunately, in Game 7, the Nuggets got the doors blown off them anyway, losing that game 123, or no, not 123, 125-93, excuse me. And in that series, Nikola Jokic absolutely put the team on his back. And fun fact, he was 1 point away from joining Giannis, Elgin Baylor, Oscar Robertson, and LeBron for having 200 points, 80 rebounds, and 40 assists in a single playoff series. He achieved the rebounding and assisting part of that stat line, but he was 1 point short from joining those guys. Giannis was the last player to do that in his playoff series versus the Celtics in 2022. That series also went 7. But the issues with Denver showed itself again in that series, just like it did against Minnesota in 2024. The Nuggets had no depth coming off their bench. They had no center to back up Jokic or spell him of minutes. Dario Saric and DeAndre Jordan were obviously not the answers. They had Julian Strawther and Peyton Watson to come off the bench with Russell Westbrook, but the problem is, if that's all you got coming off your bench, yeah, your bench is going to need work. And because of that, the Nuggets' future was officially in question. Now, obviously, I didn't touch on Michael Porter Jr. He had a great year regular season-wise in 2024-25, averaging 18.2, but unfortunately in the playoffs, he cut that points per game in half, only averaging 9.1, which is unacceptable given I think he had a bad contract then too. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But because of everything that did not happen since Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets won the championship in 2023, Nikola's future with Denver looked like Trey's future in Atlanta, meaning it looked pretty bleak and everything was up in the air. But just like Atlanta, the Denver Nuggets absolutely cooked this offseason. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why I made my video talking about the Nuggets and the Hawks and why I think they won the offseason. The Nuggets also answered their depth issues in their own ways, similar to what Atlanta did. For starters, they traded Michael Porter Jr. to the Brooklyn Nets for Cam Johnson. Obviously, if you guys watch Cam play with the Phoenix Suns, he's going to get a lot of great looks playing next to Jamal and Jokic, and it's going to be those same looks he had next to Devin Booker and Chris Paul, if not better. Plus, they got Tim Hardaway Jr., very streaky shooter, yeah, but he had a pretty decent year with the Detroit Pistons playing next to Cade Cunningham. And he's played with a player that is similar to Jokic in so many ways, in Luka Doncic, when both Luka and Tim were teammates on the Dallas Mavericks. And they also got Jonas Valanciunas from the Sacramento Kings. Now, I don't know if they got him through free agency or trade, but that is also a big pickup as well, both figuratively and literally, because of the fact that JV is a big body that could really spell Jokic minutes, which is something that he didn't really have in years past, even when they won the 2023 championship. Valanciunas can do the things that Mason Plumlee couldn't do. He can do the things that Dario Saric and DeAndre Jordan couldn't even do. And most importantly, they got Bruce Brown back, and everyone knows that Bruce was an auxiliary piece to that 2023 championship team, and he brings back some stability off the bench. Again, he's that Swiss Army knife that Nikola and Jamal needed. And then you have the improved play of Julian Strawther and Peyton Watson. Two really good high-energy guys. Julian is a good shot creator and a good shooter. Peyton Watson is a high-level energy guy and a very athletic defender. So long story short, the Nuggets bench is loaded, and they got a more consistent shooter in their starting lineup in Cam Johnson. I believe he's more consistent than Michael Porter Jr. Obviously, the numbers don't say that, but you guys got to look at the context. In Brooklyn, he was either the number 1 or number 2 option, which he's going to have a pretty high volume of attempts, and he's not going to look the greatest while doing it. Like I said, with guys like Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, he's going to get the same type of looks that he had next to Devin Booker and CP3 and DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges and all those guys in Phoenix. And like I said in my offseason vid talking about the Nuggets, the bench is full of starters. Tim Hardaway Jr., we really saw him start in a lot of playoff games with Dallas and the Pistons this past year. And Jonas Valanciunas was a starter on those Grizzlies teams next to John Morant and Desmond Bane. And then the Pelicans with Zion and Brandon Ingram. And then we obviously know about his tenure with the Toronto Raptors next to Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Now, with that being said, there's no excuse for Denver to at least not make the finals this year. Obviously, they have to go up against Oklahoma City. I do think that they have enough to repeat their title chances. But you know what? I like Denver's chances of coming out the West as well. Because they got the depth they needed. They answered a lot of their depth issues that they didn't have the last 2 seasons ever since the departures of Bruce Brown at the time and Jeff Green. They have that now. They have great floor spacing. The improvement of their young players, Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, and Julian Strawther. I already touched on them. But if the Nuggets cannot get it done this year, I don't think Nikola Jokic will be on the Nuggets much longer, because Nikola is going to hit free agency in, I believe, 2027 or this next upcoming free agency, whatever the heck. But I do trust David Adelman's coaching as well. I already touched a little bit on him. I'm going to expand on it even more. I liked his schemes that he tried implementing against the Thunder, and I loved his schemes against the Clippers. Getting into that 2-3 zone, or was it a 3-2 zone or 2-3? It was one of the two. That zone defense that took James Harden and Norman Powell's point of attack away. And with that and what he was able to do against Mark Daigneault's Thunder team in the second round, he went from being the interim head coach to being the main guy. And he was able to maintain the culture that Mike Malone stamped in Denver, which is why I predicted was not going to happen when I talked about the Mike Malone firing. And with all that being said, the Nuggets, I believe, will be the second best team in the West. Obviously, it would have been Houston at number 2, but they're kind of iffy at their point guard spot because Fred VanVleet is hurt. I still want them to get Russell Westbrook, but they're kind of screwed up financially, and they can't get Russ until like January when things start to settle down with their cap or something like that, some weird stuff like that. They may not be Oklahoma City, but they have the depth to compete with those guys. And Denver will for sure be a tough out. And I do think they will meet Oklahoma City in the conference finals this upcoming season. And before I let y'all go, I don't think the Nuggets are done here. I do think the Nuggets are going to try to target one more piece at the deadline. Obviously, if y'all see my gameplay video, I have Chris Middleton on the Nuggets, which I wanted them to get Middleton at the trade deadline. And just like the points I made about Cam Johnson playing next to Devin Booker and CP3 and Tim Hardaway Jr. playing next to Luka on the Mavs, Middleton is not only a great floor spacer, but he can do the things that he did next to Drew Holiday and Giannis, next to Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, meaning being a shot creator and take some ball handling pressure off of Jamal Murray, even though they have Bruce Brown and Julian Strawther to do that coming off the bench, and Christian Brown too. But all in all, if I'm a Denver Nugget fan, I'd be excited. I think this is going to be a really tough team, and I think they revamped their identity, especially with their depth and their shooting. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think Denver had a great offseason? Do you guys think they won the offseason? Do you guys think they should have went for better moves than the ones that they made? And what do you guys think about the new head coach, David Adelman? Do you love him? Do you hate him? Do you feel like he's going to build off of what he built on those 3 games at the end of the regular season last year going into the playoffs? Or do you think it's just going to be, a 1 season wonder or like a 15-game wonder type of thing? Whatever y'all thoughts are, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. That's the end of this video. I'm X Deuce. Oh yeah, before I let y'all go again, yes, I am posting weekly now because the offseason slowed down a lot. There's not much teams to talk about. I'm going to go through a lot of teams. I'm probably going to talk about the Cavaliers in my next video and probably talk about the Pelicans and how underrated they could be or how much Zion's fall from grace or whatever. But just know I am posting weekly and I'm posting shorts a lot more now on my channel. So if you want to go check that out, if you want to see daily content from me, I am posting shorts every day. But as far as my main content goes, talking about the NBA, I'm posting only weekly now. Obviously, it's going to start to speed up as soon as the NBA season is in full swing. I will do a week 1 recap going through my first impressions of every team that has played this year, or at least every team that I watched that has played. So be on the lookout for that. I may do a video on some hot takes from the NBA season or me reacting to some hot takes or whatever the heck. But who knows? The NBA season starts in a couple weeks and I'm very excited. I'm going to go try to get rid of that memory of what the Rams didn't do against the San Francisco 49ers C team. I'm going to enjoy my day with some gym and football. And then MLB playoffs as well, which, by the way, Dodgers are up 1-0, and I do think we will win the series, and I'm happy that the Dodgers know how to play competent baseball again because as a Dodger fan, this last month and a half made me want to tear my hair out, especially with our meltdown in Baltimore. But I'm not here to talk about baseball nor football. I'm just here to watch. I can't analyze those games as well as I can do basketball, even though I grew up a baseball fan. Fun fact about me, I just started loving basketball a lot more, and I'm passionate talking about basketball. But whatever, I'm rambling too much. Anyways, now it is officially the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces.